my amazing learners, and welcome back to the Wisdom English podcast. And welcome to day 3 of our 10-part series, Stop Overthinking, Start Speaking. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who tried the exercises from day 2. Your commitment to breaking the translation habit is the first huge step toward fluency. Yesterday, we learned how to build an English world inside our minds. But for many of us, there is an invisible wall around that world. A wall made of fear. It's the fear of making mistakes. It's that feeling in your stomach right before you speak, that voice in your head that says, "Don't say it. You'll sound stupid." Today, we are going to break down that wall brick by brick. We will learn not just to accept our mistakes, but to see them as our greatest teachers. And make sure you stay with me until the very end, because I'll reveal the simple secret that will reframe how you see mistakes forever. So, why do we fear making mistakes so much? It's a very human feeling. From a young age, many of us are taught in school systems that mistakes are bad. When you get a test back, what does the teacher highlight? The wrong answers, usually in bright red ink. We are trained to believe that getting something wrong is a sign of failure. This creates a deep-seated belief that in order to be successful, we must be perfect. We carry this perfectionism trap with us into adulthood and into our English learning journey. We think, I can't speak until my grammar is perfect, or I can't join that conversation until I know all the right words. We are afraid of being judged. We imagine everyone is listening for our mistakes, waiting for us to fail. This is a psychological phenomenon called the spotlight effect. The feeling that we are being noticed much more than we really are. In reality, most people are focused on their own lives, not on your grammar, and this fear creates a terrible cycle. Fear of mistakes leads to hesitation. Hesitation leads to silence. And silence stops you from getting the one thing you need to improve: practice. But what if we could change our relationship with mistakes? What if we could see them not as failures, but as opportunities? I want you to think about learning to cook. Can you become a great chef by only reading cookbooks? No. You have to go into the kitchen. You have to try. And what happens when you first try? You will probably burn the rice. You might add too much salt. You might undercook the chicken. These are all mistakes. But are they failures? No. They are data. The burnt rice teaches you to control the heat. The salty soup teaches you to add salt a little at a time. Every mistake is a lesson that makes you a better cook. Your English is exactly the same. Every mistake is a piece of data that shows you what you need to learn next. And today we are going to learn how to become brave cooks in the kitchen of English. Practical techniques to overcome the fear of mistakes. All right, let's dive into some practical and perhaps surprising techniques to build your confidence and overcome the fear of making mistakes. Technique number 1. The Mistake of the Day Challenge. This might sound crazy, but it is incredibly powerful. For 1 week, I challenge you to have a mistake of the day. Your goal each day is to try to use a new word or a new grammar structure that you are not 100% sure about, with the specific intention of possibly making a mistake. Why? Because this exercise changes your goal. Your goal is no longer to be perfect. Your goal is to be brave. When you intentionally allow yourself to be imperfect, the fear loses its power. Maybe you try to use a new idiom you learned, and it comes out a little bit wrong. Great! That's your mistake of the day. You tried something new. You stepped out of your comfort zone. By celebrating the attempt, you are teaching your brain that it is safe to try and it is safe to be wrong. This is how you build real, lasting confidence. Technique number 2, the correction log. Many students keep a mistake log, a notebook where they write down all their errors. I want to reframe this. Let's call it a correction log. This is not just a list of your failures, it's a record of your learning. I want you to create a notebook with 3 columns. Column 1, the mistake. Here, you write down the sentence where you made a mistake. Maybe you said, I am interested in this topic. Column 2, the correction. Here, you write the correct version. I am interested in this topic. Column 3, the rule, reason. This is the most important part. Here, you write down why it was a mistake. For example, the adjective interested describes a feeling, so I use ed. The adjective interesting describes the thing that causes the feeling, so I use inging. When you use this method, a mistake is no longer just an error. It becomes a structured, organized lesson. You are not just seeing what you did wrong. You are actively learning the rule, so you won't make the same mistake again. This turns every error into a step forward. Technique number 3, the safe space strategy. To build confidence, you need a place where you feel safe to practice without fear of judgment. This is your safe space. A safe space can be many things. It could be having a conversation with a very patient and trusted friend who is also learning English. It could be speaking with a kind and supportive teacher. But the most important safe space, and one that is available to you 24/7, is you. Your safest practice partner is yourself. I want you to find 5 minutes every day to talk to yourself out loud in English. You can do this in the car, in the shower, or while you are cooking. Talk about your day, talk about your opinions, talk about your dreams. There is no one there to judge you. There is no one there to correct you. It is just you and the language. This practice gets your mouth used to the physical act of speaking and proves to your brain that you can form sentences in English. It builds a foundation of confidence that you can then take into real-world conversations. Technique number 4, the graceful recovery phrases. Part of the fear of making mistakes is the fear of what to do after you make one. We feel embarrassed, and we freeze. But native speakers have a simple solution. We have phrases for a graceful recovery. Learning these phrases gives you a tool to use when you realize you've made a mistake, so you can fix it and move on smoothly. Here are a few essential graceful recovery phrases. Oh, I'm sorry, what I meant to say was, let me rephrase that. To rephrase means to say something again in a different, clearer way. Actually, I think the correct word island. Does that make sense? You can use this after you've tried to explain something in a complex way. When you have these tools in your pocket, you don't have to fear mistakes anymore. You know that if you say something wrong, you have a simple, confident way to correct yourself and continue the conversation. The spontaneous speaking challenge. All right, now it's time for our spontaneous speaking challenge for today, designed specifically to help you embrace imperfection. Here's how it works. I will give you a topic. You will have 60 seconds to tell a story about it. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to tell the story from beginning to end without stopping to correct yourself. Even if you know you made a mistake, I want you to keep the story moving forward. The only rule is, don't stop talking. First, an example from me. My topic is a time I got lost. I'll start the timer now. Okay. So one time I was traveling in Italy, and I was in the beautiful city of Florence. I decided to just walk around without a map. I was feeling very adventurous. I walked for hours, and the streets were so beautiful. But then, the sun started to go down, and I realized I didn't know where I was. I was completely lost. My phone was dead. I started to feel a little scared. I saw an old woman, and I tried to ask for directions in my very bad Italian. She was very kind, and she pointed me in the right direction. It was a scary experience, but I learned that it's okay to ask for help. See, I made a few small mistakes. I corrected one, two, didn't, but I just left the others. The important thing was, I told the whole story. I communicated my message. Now it's your turn. Your topic is, tell me about a funny memory from your childhood. You have 60 seconds. Remember, don't worry about mistakes. Just tell the story. Start speaking. Now, 60-second pause for your practice. Wonderful work. It's difficult to keep going without correcting yourself, I know. But this is how you build fluency. You are teaching your brain to prioritize communication over perfection, shifting your mindset for confidence. We've talked about practical techniques, but the real, lasting change happens when you shift your mindset about mistakes. I want you to stop seeing mistakes as a reflection of your intelligence. A mistake in English does not mean you are not smart. It simply means you are a human being who is learning something new and complex. I want you to start celebrating your attempts. Did you try to use a new word in a conversation today? Even if you used it incorrectly, celebrate the fact that you were brave enough to try. Did you join a conversation, even if you only said one sentence? Celebrate that. When you start to reward yourself for the effort of trying, you will be much more likely to keep trying. And that consistent effort is the only true path to fluency. The final secret. So, we've covered a lot today. We've talked about why we fear mistakes, and we've learned practical techniques to overcome that fear, like the mistake of the day challenge, the correction log, finding your safe space, and using graceful recovery phrases. And now for the secret I promised at the beginning, the simple secret that will reframe how you see mistakes forever is this. Mistakes are not the opposite of fluency. They are the path to fluency. Every mistake you make is a signpost on your journey. It is a guide that shows you exactly what you need to learn next. A person who makes no mistakes is a person who is not trying anything new, and therefore, they are not growing. Fluency is not the absence of mistakes. It's the confidence to speak despite them. It's the confidence to know that even if you make a mistake, you can recover, you can learn, and you can continue the conversation. When you truly believe this, the fear will disappear. So, my challenge to you is this. For today, I want you to try the Mistake of the Day challenge. Go out and try to use one English word or phrase that you are not 100% sure about. Be brave. And then come back and tell us in the comments what you tried. Join me tomorrow for day 4, where we will learn some powerful techniques to expand your vocabulary and never feel like you're searching for words again. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom English podcast channel to watch our next videos.